YouTube, how's it going? Nate Great 321 back again with another recent pickups video for you, and I'm going to start things off a little differently than I usually do. I'm going to talk about two games that I've been playing recently. Now these aren't games I picked up in the last couple weeks or anything. I've had these games for a while, but in an attempt to kind of get through a lot of my games in my backlog, there's not a lot of games out right now that really interest me, so I'm using this time to kind of, dig into the games that I wanted to put more time into my pile of shame you might remember from a couple of videos back. So, two games that I've been making some good progress on and hopefully should be beating in the next week or so. And first of which is God of War 3. And I think I mentioned when I picked this game up that I was stuck on the first boss. I was stuck on Hades. That's relatively pretty towards the beginning. And I mentioned that, I was stuck on it, and I bet that if I picked this up, I would probably beat him first try. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And that's kind of the pattern I noticed in this game, that at least when I play it, I'll play it for an hour or a half hour or something like that, get stuck somewhere, get frustrated, and just turn it off, and then I'll come back the next day or, a couple hours later the same day, and I'll beat it first try. So that's been how I've kind of been going through the game, really just kind of start and stop, little bits here and there. And, I'm moving along pretty quickly, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm toward the end. I just picked up a trophy for collecting all the Phoenix feathers, which are collectibles you can get throughout the game. So that, to me that seems like I'm towards the end. I just got Pandora out of the labyrinth, so you guys that have beat the game can tell me how far along I am, maybe how many more hours I have left to play. It's enjoyable, it's repetitive, but that's kind of the nature of the game. The visuals look really good, the mythology theme around it, everything, the Greek mythology is pretty cool. It makes for a very interesting story. Very, very gory and violent, but that's cool, I can handle that. And speaking of gory and violent, I got back into Gears of War. I got this with my 360 when I bought it a while ago, and didn't get that far into it, and then just kind of stopped for whatever reason. And I was looking online, thinking about getting Gears of War 2, and then, I was like, well, I have the first one and haven't beat it, so I might as well do that before I get the second one. If I see Gears of War 2 for under 20 bucks new, I'll probably pick it up. And maybe when Gears of War 3 comes out, I'll buy that, when it's new, right when it comes out. So I'll try to beat this, get Gears of War 2 and beat that before the third one comes out later this year. I think September or October or something like that it's due to come out. So I believe I'm about halfway through this. I'm in the middle of Act 3, and I think there's 5 acts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty sure I'm about halfway through, and it's enjoyable. It's cool. For a older game, I guess relatively older, it's probably only 5-6 years old, it still looks really good and still plays really cool. I like it, it's really enjoyable. Okay, on to recent pickups, games that I've picked up in the last couple weeks. I guess it's been 3 weeks since I've done a video, something like that. We'll start off with old school games. I finally found old school games at my Goodwill. It's been literally months since I've found them. The Goodwills around me now are just terrible. They're awful. I don't even check them that often, but I went on a lunch break not too long ago, and they had probably about 50 Atari games, and I don't have my ColecoVision with me, which is how I play my Atari games. I have the expansion pack. So I didn't want to buy them. A lot of them were really common games. You buy them for $1, and they're probably worth less than that, honestly. So I just I picked 6 out that I thought looked interesting that I didn't have. So we'll start off with the 2 official Atari games, I guess you could call it. I picked up E.T., yes, I know I should probably just pitch this in the garbage, right? But I've actually wanted this game just because it's got so much history around it. It's such an iconic game, but kind of for the wrong reasons, actually. But I like collecting these kind of games that are I don't know, you want to call them milestone games or something like that, things that represent either the best or worst of gaming, I like seeking these kind of things out. I think they're really cool additions to the collection. Obviously I haven't played it, but, probably not missing much there. And another one I picked up is Sword Quest Fireworld. And I remember Angry Video Game Nerd did kind of a history retrospective video about the Sword Quest series, which was meant to be this epic 4-part tournament in the early 80s. If you get a chance, watch this video or look it up on Wikipedia. It's ridiculous how over the top this contest got. And, Atari and the video game industry collapsed before it could be complete. But I'm pretty sure this is the first in what would have been a 4-part series, that only 3 of them were made. And one of the 3, I think the water one is super, super rare, one of the, rare games. This one's not worth a whole lot, but I figured, for the history and the story and kind of you know, all that around it. I think it was worth picking up. These were $1 each, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. They're yeah, they were all $1. And then I always like picking up these Atari games, the ones that are made by the different companies, because if you've never seen the variety of Atari carts that are out there, there's a ton, more than like the NES unlicensed games, I would think. It seems like almost every company put out their own cart design and style to kind of differentiate them from the pack. So I picked out a couple odd looking ones. I picked one by Spectra Video called Gangster Alley. I think these are all in about the $10 range as far as value. I'm not going to sell them or anything. That's just kind of how I gauge rarity and value and stuff. I looked on eBay, and these were going for about $10, something like that. Gangster Alley. I think it's kind of like a, not a light gun shooter, but you know, it's the same style, except you use a joystick. So it's kind of like a carnival shooting game, but probably not very good on the Atari, honestly. A game you may not know started on the Atari, Star Fox. It's not that Star Fox that everyone loves, but it's a game called Star Fox for the Atari, made by Mythicom. Mythicon? Mythicon. Alright, with an N. It looks like a standard kind of Atari cartridge, but it's obviously not an Atari game because it doesn't have that standard label. But, whoa, almost dropped it in my lap there. But Star Fox, kind of weird. I didn't know it was a Star Fox game for the Atari. And 2 games by Apollo, which all seem to have this sort of blue diagonal style to it. Lost Luggage, I don't know anything about that. And Infiltrate. And by the time I left, I realized there was another game by this company that I missed there. And I went back like 4 hours later, and literally all the Atari games were gone. So missed out on that. It was Shark Attack, but yeah, you know, I can live without it. Someone else got it, so that's alright. PlayStation 2 game I found at a different Goodwill by me, Destroy All Humans. I remember this was, is this little sticker on it? No, I think it was like $2. I remember when this came out on PS2, I really wanted it because it looked really cool. It's kind of like a free roaming, you're an alien basically. It's, I don't know, you go around doing alien stuff. It's a lighthearted game. It's meant to be funny. So it's pretty decent, you know. It's not too high on my priority list of games to play or beat right now. I just got it because it was $2, and I remember wanting it back in the day. I played it for a little bit, and it was alright. But, you know, we'll see. It's the greatest hits. I know some people don't like getting those. I don't really care, especially for, like, PS2 games and that generation. So, whatever. Destroy All Humans, $2. And now onto current-gen games. We'll start. I can't really show you this game because it's download only, but I'll hold this up in its place. I got Back to the Future for PlayStation Network. It's by Telltale Games, the same people that made Monkey Island and a lot of those adventure games. I'm blanking on some of the other ones right now, but you guys probably know them. They've made a lot. Sam and Max, that's the other one I'm thinking of. They make a lot of point-and-click adventure games for the computer. You know, a lot of long-time running series, and they've recently getting into episodic content. You know, they release a series in 5 parts where each part is like 2 hours long, and in total you get like a 10-hour experience, but it's spread out over a couple months or whatever. You know, some people argue whether that's good or bad, whether they like that or not, but regardless, that's their style, and I am a huge Back to the Future fan. It is probably, I mean, it is tied at the top of my favorite movies of all time for sure. I can almost recite it verbatim, which is probably sad, but you know, whatever. But yeah, I love the movies, love the whole universe and kind of the 80s theme to it and the time traveling theme to it. It's got everything a nerd could love, you know? So I knew that getting this game, I had to get it, even if it sucked, I was going to buy it. So it's $20 for all 5 episodes. They're released monthly. There's only 1 episode out right now for PlayStation. If you have it for PC, there's 2 episodes out, but it's $25 instead of $20, so you can decide which one you want. I'm pretty sure the episodes are all done, so the fact that they're waiting so long to release it, you know, they're almost forcing the experience to last 5 months instead of just letting us kind of play it at our own pace. That kind of frustrates me, but it'll be a nice surprise, like in March or whatever when the second episode comes out. I'll probably be looking for something to do. The first episode took me about 2 hours, so I'm guessing all told the whole thing will be about 10 to 11 hours, which isn't too bad. $20, it's not awful. I would only spring on it if you are a fan of the Back to the Future series. I haven't played any of the Telltale games. I've heard that in comparison, this one's a lot easier. It's a little dumbed down. So it's not really as much of a challenge as like Monkey Island or things like that. So if you like their games in the past, maybe try the demo or look at gameplay videos and reviews and kind of decide for yourself. But it's hard to recommend that without having played the other Telltale games. And I'm a little biased because I'm a huge Back to the Future fan, so anything with that franchise I'm gonna absolutely love. So to me, I'd recommend it. If you're a Back to the Future fan, definitely try it out. $20 isn't too bad. But it's a give. I have a hard time giving it a full recommendation to everybody. But for the fans of the movie, definitely grab it. And 2 PS3 games. Now that I expanded my PS3's memory, I've been buying more PS3 games lately, or looking at more. One which I beat was Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. I got it for $30, and I'm kind of frustrated now because it's just dropped down to 20, and I saw it today at Kmart for 15. So paid double what I could have, but that's all right. It was. I've heard so much about this game, how this is like an overlooked gem, how this is like an awesome game, and people are just praising this thing to no end. And it was interesting. It wasn't a bad game, that's for sure. It was pretty good. For $20, definitely I think it's worth a pickup. 30, pushing it. But it's pretty standard fare. You beat a bunch of. It reminds you the progression reminds me a lot of Uncharted, where it's platforming and climbing and puzzle solving, followed by beating guys up. Then it's another thing, puzzles, beat guys up, puzzle, beat guys up, that kind of back and forth. It becomes a little repetitive after a while. The story's decent. I think the big thing everyone clamors about is the ending. Everyone says it's such like an amazing ending and you'll never forget it. To me, it felt a little tacked on, like they felt it's like a twist ending kind of. But to me, it felt like the designers got to the end of the game and they're like, oh, well, we probably need, it's like they didn't know where to end it. So they just were like, well, this is good enough. We'll throw in this kind of like brain teaser here. And to me, it didn't fit with the story. I mean, you were kind of given really, really vague hints along the way of what might be going on. I mean, to me, it seems like kind of wasted potential. Like they could have done so much more with the ending and made it, I don't know, tie in more to the story. It seemed like it didn't fit with what led up to it. It seemed just so random. But yeah, it's a decent game. I'd say give it a rent or give it a try. $20, yeah. It's not bad. I think it's only going to drop down in price. 15 is probably where it'll stay. That's not bad. I mean, it took, it wasn't that long of a game. It's a single player experience for sure, but it's still, I got some good enjoyment out of it, some good time. So, all in all, average, maybe a little above average. We'll see. And the last recent pickup, which I've really been enjoying, is Dead Space. This game, for whatever reason, I held off on this so long. Since it came out, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it looked like the kind of game I would like. I like survival horror games, and I haven't really played a good one in a long time. I haven't played Resident Evil 4, so maybe I'll give that a shot. But I tried Resident Evil 5, that was okay, but I haven't played a good one in a long time. This is really good. Not as scary as you might think. I guess that's, subjective, that's up to you. The visuals and the audio, the environments and everything are fantastic in this game. They're really well done. Visuals look great. The sound design is just excellent, really good. You get a great atmosphere. You really get immersed in the world in this game. The scares are a lot of jump scares. Things come around corners. But after the first, half hour of playing, you walk around with your gun held out anyway. So you kind of learn to expect the scares when they come by. But yeah, it's a really cool game. I'm about halfway through it. I'm on chapter... Oh, where am I? I think I'm on like 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure there's 12 chapters to this. So, moving along. I figure we'll beat it when I beat it. I'm not in a huge rush. And then I'll go ahead and get Dead Space 2. That's the main reason why I bought this, because I've heard so many good things about Dead Space 2. I figure I'll play this, take my time with it, and by the time I finish this, maybe Dead Space 2, I can grab it on sale for something. I bought this for $10. It's greatest hits. Yeah, a lot of people complain about the, glaring red box, but again, greatest hits, I don't really care about it. $10, you can't beat that for sure. But But yeah, that's the recent pickups I've got. I'm looking to do some things with my channel to kind of change things around. My videos haven't been going out as frequently as I would have liked. I'm looking to maybe start a blog or something like that, because writing a review or writing an article, writing something like that, I write for a living basically. So doing that takes me no time. I can hammer out a fairly long article really quickly, whereas these videos, to record them, to gather all this stuff together, to upload it, to the computer, then upload it to YouTube, it's a long process. And I think that the blog might be a easier way for me to kind of get things out more frequently and quickly for me. A little more efficient, I guess. But I'm not going to quit doing videos for sure. The blog might be something to supplement that. So let me know, guys, if you'd be interested in that, if you would read it. I'll start it and see where it goes, maybe. And another thing, I'm looking to kind of do some different types of videos, so stay tuned for that. The next 3 days here are going to be super busy for me, so at the earliest you'll hear from me is Sunday. So we'll see how that goes, but stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching, and for now, NateGray321, signing out.